Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another Dragalia Lost banner review. We are getting really close to the next Gala banner, so of course I don't recommend pulling from this banner at all. But this banner does contain really good characters, so I would still like to give you guys my opinion on this banner, alright? Wyrmprint recommendations are in the comments below like always, and with all that being said, let's get started. Alright, so Chelsea is a brand new flame bow unit. She's our fourth one. Her skill 1 costs 2,910 SP. It's a little bit on the higher side, but still not too bad. Bow characters gain SP fairly fast, so the cost shouldn't be an issue. If I recall correctly, bows generate about 1500 SP from a regular 5-hit combo without taking into account skill haste. So this skill 1 will take approximately 2 C5s in order to fill, which is quite good. The damage is 7 hits of 136% flame damage, and that equates to about 952%. This is good damage for the SP cost. To put it into perspective, it almost deals the same as Sarisa's skill 1 if we're just talking about the base damage. The second effect on her skill 1 says that if the skill 1 attack connects during obsession, then this skill will heal Chelsea for 5% of the damage done. The recovery caps at 7% of her max HP per hit. So basically, her skill 1 will heal her whenever it deals damage, and this synergizes with the rest of her kit. She's got that playstyle where she wants to stay at low HP, so the healing effect is going to be nice for when she needs to heal back up so that she can prepare herself to take unavoidable attacks such as purple chasers in high mid-guard trials. You'll see what I mean as we move on and analyze the rest of her kit. Her skill 2 is Bruiser Bliss, 7000 SP cost, and again, it's a little bit on the higher side, but it shouldn't be an issue for her. This skill will take about 4 to 5 C5s in order to generate to full. Bruiser Bliss activates Obsession for 60 seconds. During Obsession, Chelsea's strength is increased by 30%, and they will take damage equal to 3% of their max HP every time they attack or use a skill. And then for the rest of the effect, I have already covered. It allows her S1 to self-heal based on damage dealt. Alright, so 30% strength for 60 seconds is insane. She is able to gain SP during Obsession, so I'm pretty sure she can easily keep this buff up indefinitely. Now the 3% recoil damage during Obsession plays a big part in her kit if you look at her abilities. She gains 20% strength and 10% attack rate when her HP is 30% or below. In addition, during Obsession, her strength is increased by 30% and her defense is decreased by 20%. This means that during Obsession, she can potentially gain a total of 80% strength and 10% attack rate. That increased attack rate helps with keeping her skill 2 buff up, and furthermore, she's going to be able to dish out tons of damage with her skill 1. Not only will she gain SP faster, but the animation of her attacking skills will speed up as well. This kind of playstyle of hers is a high risk, high reward type of playstyle similar to Natalie. Both of these characters require a lot of knowledge on the foe's attack patterns in order to maximize the character's potential. I would say that Chelsea is a little bit easier to play than, let's say, Natalie, since she is a ranged character and playing as ranged in high mid-guard trials is pretty easy for the most part as long as your baiter knows how to bait properly. If the baiter knows how to bait, then the ranged characters can pretty much just stand there and attack away freely. All Chelsea has to worry about is deciding when to use her skills. You have to know when to hold onto her skill 2 so that she doesn't get killed by high mid-guard stacks and chasers while her defense is decreased by 20%. You have to keep in mind that Obsession is active for 60 seconds. That's a long duration, so you gotta know when the chaser and stack attacks are coming. I believe the first stack comes around the 420 mark and the second one is about 140-ish. So that's about 2 minutes and 40 seconds in between the 2 stack and the chaser attacks. This means that Chelsea can safely use her skill 2 about twice in between. If you are in a pre-made team that knows what they are doing, Chelsea might be able to get away with letting the team just 3-man tank the stack, and then Chelsea can just stand outside of it. I'm pretty sure she's able to survive a purple chaser even with the 20% defense down, assuming she's at near full HP. And something important to remember is that using her skill 1 in between the stack and the chaser to restore some HP is going to help her survive the chaser, so that's something to keep in mind. Alright, so Chelsea is really good. I'm fairly certain that she outdamages Cerise under optimal play. The buffs that she's gaining from her abilities and skill 2 is just insane. However, despite saying all of that, I think Cerise is still probably a better character to use in pubs with random players because she's more forgiving. But with a pre-made team, there's no doubt in my mind that I think Chelsea is the superior bow DPS. In terms of viability in high midgard trials, of course both of these characters are viable in standard and expert. Masters is kind of a different story though. I know that Cerise isn't that good in Masters, so I don't believe Chelsea will be that great either, even though I do think that she'll be better. If you look at the current Masters high midgard meta, it's Reina, Ramona, Emma, and Verica. Verica is a staple healer, then Ramona and Emma are there to enable double DPS prints for the whole team, so those three are hard characters to replace. So the only character that's left that can be replaced is Reina, and that's not a very good replacement because Reina enables the team to run Elegant Escort or Burning Punisher. Plus your team loses out on the strength co-ability, so with all that being said, it's going to be difficult for Chelsea to fit into a Masters High Midgard team, at least for now until the pub meta changes. I do think eventually we'll start seeing Chelsea in Masters High Midgard once people figure out more team comps and the meta becomes more diverse in pubs. But yeah, overall Chelsea is an excellent ranged DPS. She's probably the best bow unit in this game right now, at least in terms of DPS. The 4-star unit of the banner is Yuya. He's our first Flame Dagger with Stun Res. His skill 1 costs 4,192, huge SP cost. The optimal combo for daggers is C4 4 strike, which generates about 1,100 SP, which means it takes about 4 of those to fill up his skill 1. That's not very good. On top of that, the damage on this huge SP costed skill is absolutely terrible. It deals 4 hits of 186% and that totals to 744%. Absolutely atrocious damage to SP cost ratio, and the animation on it takes a long 3 seconds. However, this skill does have some pros. This skill increases his attack rate by 20% for 10 seconds, and 20% attack rate is a lot. But I don't think it makes up for how terrible the rest of his skill is. The problem is that he just doesn't have a good skill to spam. He's pretty much using the increased attack rate to loop activate Deadly Joyride, which is just an underwhelming skill to say the least. Skill 2, Rowdy Rumbler, is also very costly. Its SP cost is 10,894. It increases defense by 10% for 15 seconds, and it grants teammates a shield that can nullify damage. This skill puts Yuya in a role similar to Emma, and that's not a good place to be because Emma is extremely good on flame teams. Rowdy Rumbler is pretty much a worse version of Emma's skill 2 in every way. With that said, Emma is just better than Yuya on any flame team out there. First off, Emma provides more damage with her AoE strength buff, and she provides more defense with her skill 2. Also, her co-ability enables her team to run double DPS prints, so there's very few scenarios where Yuya is better than Emma. I understand that they are different weapon classes, but they serve the same roles on a flame team because of how their skills work. A team where he could maybe fit in is a team with Howling Mim, since she has a crit damage co-ability that synergizes with his crit up co-ability. Also, since Howling Mim doesn't have the traditional defensive co-ability that others axes have, Yuya's defense buff could help alleviate some damage versus certain attacks. The only problem with Yuya on the same team with Mim is that they both share the beta role, so baiting spits from High Midgard could be troublesome. Now as for his abilities, he has Chicken at Heart, Stun Res, and Prime Devastation. Chicken at Heart says it increases his strength by 20% when HP is above 60%, and it decreases his strength by 20% when his HP is less than 60%. This ability is pretty good. It's almost a permanent 20% strength increase as long as you don't make any mistakes. Do note that he will be the one baiting High Midgard, so you really have to understand how to play Dagger and how to bait properly to maximize his ability's potential. As for Prime Devastation, it only activates when the unit's initial skill is available for use. His skill 1 does cost a lot, but since Prime Devastation only activates every 15 seconds, I don't think he'll have much problems activating it off cooldown. So overall, I think Yuya is pretty underwhelming and average at best. I think for most teams, you may as well just use Emma instead of Yuya. The only reason to use him over Emma is for his crit up co-ability, and that's pretty much it. At least now, Dagger's finally got a stun res unit to use for High Midgard. You no longer have to use risky sleep daggers. He should be viable to use in High Midgard, so if you like his weird kit, go ahead and use him. He should be able to clear standard and expert High Midgard just fine, despite how wonky his kit is. Last but not least is the new Flame Prime Dragon. This review will be fairly short because if you saw my last review on Hester, basically the same thing can be said for Kagutsuchi as well. This is a dragon that is not that good in co-op, but he's really good in Mikuro Gauntlet and for solo content. Basically, you give one Kagutsuchi to each of your AI allies, and your lead character will receive all the prime strength buffs. You're pretty much funneling everything into your lead character. Last thing I want to mention is that he does have a great dragon form. He deals about the same as Agni, so that's around 4,500 damage, which is above average, not too shabby at all. And that was my review for the 3 new units. As for the other focus unit on the banner, it's Reina. Reina is a great flame blade. I've always thought she was better than Makoto when she was first released, and now she's like 100% better ever since Cygames changed how afflictions worked in this game. She's very meta for all difficulties of high Midgard and extremely good as a lead in Mikro Gauntlet. I do think this is a great banner to summon from if you feel like you need some high DPS flame units, but please do keep in mind that we have a Gala banner coming up really soon, so don't get carried away and spend all your Wyrmite on this current banner. We might be getting somebody OP on the next Gala banner like Gala Luca or Gala Elisan, so definitely save some summons for that. Anyways, that's gonna wrap things up for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.